Today I'm going to show you a step-by-step process on exactly how to do lead generation using Facebook ads, ChatGPT, plus a few optional but incredibly powerful secret weapons that you may want to consider, especially if you're serious about generating more leads, making more sales, and growing your business. Over the past 10 years, I've spent over $70 million on Facebook ads and have generated hundreds of millions of leads. And this is the exact same system I used every single time and with every single business that I ever started or worked with. Now, we obviously didn't have ChatGPT a decade ago, so everything we did took a whole lot longer, which means that today what I'm about to show you is even more powerful and profitable than it was back then. Exciting times we live in, hey? So let's start at the top by taking a look at the one thing that all of the top $1 million lead gen campaigns have in common. The most important thing in lead generation or any kind of direct response marketing is alignment. A boring word, but an important concept that once you understand will make everything you do from this day forward 10 times, maybe even 100 times more effective and profitable. So let me break it down for you now using my marketing master plan framework. The very first thing you need to do is figure out what business, and more specifically, what offer you want to generate leads for. Your business may have a ton of different services, but marketing is done and won a single offer at a time, especially when it comes to lead gen, where being clear and specific is key. This step doesn't take any fancy skills or technology or secret strategies. Just pick the offer that you want to generate leads for and move on to step 2, which is the market. Here you need to start getting clear about who exactly your ideal target market or customer avatar is. If you already know their demographic details like their age, gender, income, occupation, their geographic details like what city, state, province, or country they live in, and their all-important psychographic details like what are their values, their attitudes, their beliefs, their lifestyles, then this part is just largely a fill-in-the-blanks exercise. But if you don't yet have that kind of information, or you want to double check and make sure that you're fishing in the right pond, here's what to do next. First, head over to ChatGPT and type in this prompt. I need to generate leads for my, put in your type of business, but I can't figure out who my target market is. Please give me a few different target markets to test and make sure to highlight why you chose them. For this example, we'll use a plumbing company as the type of business. And just like that, you've now got a list of potential audiences to target and test. From homeowners and landlords to real estate agencies and home warranty companies, and there's a 7-figure lead gen opportunity hiding behind all of these. Step 3 is the message, and it's here that things start to get really exciting, because it's the message that's going to help you separate yourself from the pack and differentiate yourself from the competition and stand out from the sea of other ads trying to drown you in their mediocrity. Now, one option you have, and the one we used to use exclusively prior to the launch of ChatGPT, was to write half a dozen or so Facebook ads by hand, or keyboard I guess is more accurate, but that often took hours, sometimes even days. Now though, you can just use ChatGPT and feed it the following prompt. Please create a Facebook ad that targets, put in your target market, with our, and put in your offer. For this example, let's stick with our plumbing company. Say that our target market is homeowners, and our offer is 24-hour plumbing service. And this is what it looks like. Now, there are a few things that I like to do here depending on what kind of result ChatGPT just delivered. The first is to make a copy of this and remove all the emojis. Sometimes emojis work, sometimes they don't. So test both. Next, I asked ChatGPT to rewrite it, but make it shorter, then longer, then funnier. And I just see what I get each time. What's also cool is you may have noticed a little section at the bottom of the results called visuals, where ChatGPT is suggesting an image to use alongside this ad. In this case, a collage of professional plumbers at work, a friendly 24/7 service logo, and images that show a happy, stress-free homeowner. Now, we're probably not going to use that exactly as suggested, but we are going to ask ChatGPT to come up with a few other variations in order to really help make sure this ad is a winner. One of the most important elements to generating leads with Facebook ads is understanding that if you can't stop the scroll, the process of getting someone's attention as they burn through hours and hours of mindless consuming, then it doesn't matter how good, creative, or valuable your ad is, because nobody's gonna see it. This is why choosing and testing the right image is so important. Now, we could just go with ChatGPT's suggestion of a collage featuring professional plumbers at work, a friendly 24/7 service logo, and images that show a happy, stress-free homeowner. But that just seems kind of basic. And I know we can do better. So let's hop back into ChatGPT, and under the Facebook ad that it just delivered, well, just copy and paste this prompt. Please give me 5 more examples for visuals to use alongside this Facebook ad. Please provide a literal, metaphorical, dream outcome, funny, and curiosity-provoking visual idea. Okay, so these are okay to work with, and at least now we have a few ideas for some images that we can create and work with. The next question then is, where are we gonna get these pictures? Well, for the first option, we could use a free stock photo site like Unsplash, where we just type in plumbing and see what we get. Some of these are fine, maybe even good, but not great. Certainly not new, unique, or different. That said, I did manage to find a couple of images that are probably worth a shot. The next option is to try a paid stock photo site like Shutterstock. But again, we're probably going to run into a very similar problem with the generic looking stock photo. So while a paid stock photo site like Shutterstock typically does have more options to choose from, and some of them are actually pretty good, well, it does cost money. So let's look at another option. Option 3 is to use AI in order to help us generate the perfect image for our ad. Now, my personal tool of choice right now is Midjourney, but it does cost a few bucks, and there are other free and paid options available with new players coming onto the scene all the time. So I thought I'd start by testing the funny idea. Maybe the cartoon image of a dripping faucet that looks anxious with a speech bubble that reads, "Not on my watch." Classic faucet. Unfortunately, the examples that I got back from Midjourney aren't just bad, they're terrifying. Nightmare fuel that I feel guilty for even having shown you. So let's try again, and this time let's go literal. And as a bit of a side note, but word of advice, when you're using AI image generators and you want to add text or any kind of words to your image, you're typically best to do them after you've got the image generated by adding them manually with Photoshop or some other kind of image editing software. Okay, so here goes round 2. Let's try to get a literal image of a plumber at night with a toolbox, and we'll make sure he's smiling too. Okay, better, and overall not terrible, except for what's going on with this guy's hand right here. Still not completely satisfied though, I decided to refine things just a little bit better by providing Midjourney with a few adjectives that I know work incredibly well, like hyper-realistic and ultra-high-def photo. So I typed in this prompt. Professional plumber outside at night with street lamps on in a hyper-realistic Ultra HD photo style, and managed to get back this, which I think is at least worth testing out. Okay, so now that we've got our images, it's time to move on to step 5, the machine. Here's where you're gonna take all of the words and images that ChatGPT and Midjourney or wherever else you sourced your images from generated for you, and start putting the pieces together one by one into a successful Facebook lead gen campaign. First, log into your Facebook ads account or set up a new one if you don't have one already. Then click Create Campaign and choose Leads as your campaign objective. Now, you can choose Manual or Tailored Leads Campaign, either one is fine. For this example, let's keep things super simple and choose Tailored Leads Campaign in order to get Facebook to do much of the heavy lifting for us. For conversion, you want to choose Instant Forms. For budget, I normally like to set this at the ad set level and choose a budget that's going to allow you to generate around 5 to 10 leads a day, at least, in order to make sure that you're giving Facebook enough data to really optimize your campaign around. So for a plumbing lead, I might expect to say $1 to $2 depending on what city, state, or province I'm targeting. So I think I'm gonna set each ad set at around 20 bucks or so. Now for your audience, it's largely just copy and paste here based off of the market research data and the ideal customer avatar and the target audience that either you know or you had ChatGPT create for you. But generally, I like to keep my targeting pretty open and let the ad copy and the words and images that I use do much of the targeting and segmenting for me. In other words, I tend to target a whole bunch of people, but when it comes to writing the ad, I make sure that the words and the language and the call to action are very clearly aimed at, well, in this case, homeowners. So here, we'll just pick the city you're going after. I'll just use Austin, Texas, which gives me an audience size of 1.8 to 2.1 million people. And then we can move on to the ad creation part itself, where again, you get to celebrate a little, as ChatGPT has already done much of the hard work for you. So all you really need to do is just copy and paste a little bit and fill in the blanks. Now, seeing as we chose an instant form for our lead gen campaign, the only other thing we really need to do is create the form, and then figure out where we want all of those hot, juicy new leads to end up. But more on that in just a second. First, let's make the form. Easy peasy here. Just click Create Form and then give it a name. Choose more volume or higher quality. I usually go with more volume as I use software in order to help me segment out the good from the bad. But again, more on that in just a second. Choose a background image. I like to use the same one in my ad as I do for this whenever possible. This is tricky if you're testing all kinds of different ads and images, as creating a new form for each one is a bit of a pain in the neck, so just choose whichever one you like best then. For the greeting, I just copy and paste my ad headline and a description of the offer from the ad copy. And the only other thing that you desperately, truly need is that phone number. I seriously can't say this strongly enough. One of the biggest factors that you can do to increase the conversions and the quality of your leads is start steering away from just collecting their name and email address and start collecting that phone number. After that, just take care of the admin stuff by adding a link to your privacy policy and website, and then let's hit publish. Now, it's at this stage that we really separate the amateurs from the pros, because as any great lead generation expert knows, getting the lead is just half the battle. The other and arguably more important half is taking that lead and converting them into a paying client or customer. Now, the old way to do this was to go into your Facebook page and manually download your leads, maybe importing them into a spreadsheet and try following up with them one by one. But that, my friend, is exhausting and time-consuming. It makes it nearly impossible to immediately respond to all of those hot new leads coming across your desk. And that's why I use software to help me do this. Software that automatically imports new leads into my CRM the second they come in and delivers a completely automated lead gen conversion campaign that turns ice-cold leads into lifelong loyal paying clients and customers, all without me having to do a single thing. Now, I appreciate that probably sounds way too good to be true. So my advice here is to just try it out for yourself and see if it works for you, because it probably will. Also, fun fact, this video is not sponsored. I just really like the software and genuinely believe that if you're running lead gen campaigns professionally, either for yourself or for someone else, then you'd be crazy not to at least check it out. The software I'm talking about is called High Level, and to help you give it a shot and test it out for yourself, I'll put a link up here on the screen as well as down in the descriptions below that's going to get you access to an extended free trial, a free training and course on how to use it, and a free strategy call with High Level themselves in order to help you get it set up and customized to your unique needs and situation. And if you'd like even more of my best marketing strategies, then you're definitely going to want to check out the video that I've got linked up right here, which is going to show you step by step how I got ChatGPT to build me an entire marketing campaign from scratch. So make sure to tap or click that now, and I'll see you in there in just a second.